Hello everyone, welcome to the NASSCOM IT Skill Training and Certification Information. I am Basavaraj Talwar. I am a faculty in the CSC department at NITK. So first of all, to start off with, whom this presentation is aimed for. If you remember, early October, that was from 1st to 4th of October, we had asked for students to register, right, for a NASSCOM diagnostic test, right, diagnostic test. So there are three phases for this sequence. There is first a diagnostic test which will identify what your strengths are, core areas are, and then depending on what your core areas are, there will be a training schedule after the test. After you've been identified to say this is your core area, there will be a training. There will be a sequence of training given to you under that area, and then you will be given certification. So if you have registered, and 587 students have registered from all over NITK belonging to 2nd to 4th year across all branches. And this video is specifically for those students who have registered for this NASSCOM diagnostic test. Basically, I will be giving you information about what the test will contain, what will happen after the test, and so on. This presentation is a alternative, right? An alternative to a class seminar. The other way of giving you all of this information was to call all of you to a seminar and we give a class. However, I thought this was a far better idea. So let's begin. So first of all, what is this NASSCOM? NASSCOM is an association of software and services companies. Around 2,800 odd companies of all sizes, starting from startups to very large multinationals, are a part of this NASSCOM association. So basically, this is the body that represents the IT industry, the IT and the BPO services industry, and it's also an interface between the Silicon Valley industries and the government. So any policy that needs to be implemented in all of these companies basically just gets communicated to all the companies through NASSCOM, and other way around also. Any recommendations to the government go through NASSCOM from the Silicon Valley. If any recommendations need to be sent to the government, it goes through NASSCOM. So basically, it acts as the interface between the government and the industry. It is a important participant in the Digital India transformation. So several of these Digital India initiatives have been communicated to the software industry through NASSCOM by the government, and NASSCOM is actively participating in several of these initiatives. Importantly, for this context and for this NASSCOM training and skill development, NASSCOM is a part of the Skill India initiatives by the government. The Skill India initiative is simply stated, it looks to train around 40 crore people by 2022 in very specific roles to build professionals who are experts in very specific areas, right? That's what Skill India aims to develop by 2022. So the IT portion of it, so out of the 40 crore people who will be IT professionals, right, NASSCOM has taken this initiative to train a fraction of these, a bunch of the 40 crore people in very specific areas, right? So that's where you're coming in as possible future professionals who will be trained in specific areas under the Skill India initiative. The entire sequence of this program by NASSCOM will be in three phases. The first phase is to basically identify professionals under some specific focus areas, and these focus areas are pertaining to IT and services. So IT services companies, and in areas that are going to be important tomorrow, right? The second phase after the identification. So basically, the test identifies what your core talent is, and once the core focus area is identified for a candidate, that candidate will be eligible to take training under these focus areas, and once the training has been completed successfully, NASSCOM will provide you certification, and this certification basically is a sort of a proof to say that you have been competent, or you are now ready for the industry challenges in that particular area in the future. So that certification will have some weightage. Yeah, so let's see what those focus areas are. So yeah, as I already mentioned, the diagnostics assessment is basically the test that you will be taking. Now that you are registered for the test, you will be taking the test, and the test aims to identify what are the potential areas that you will be you are competent to be given opportunities and given working opportunities in the future. So NASSCOM has identified 9 ITA focus areas, which is AI, cloud, data analytics, 3D printing, robotics, blockchain, virtual reality, augmented reality, IoT, and cybersecurity. So these are the areas that will be important in the future for software industry specifically, and for the nation in general, and NASSCOM is looking to build quality professionals in these 9 areas, right? So and the first step for that is the diagnostic assessment, the test schedule will be communicated as soon as it is decided. So that is phase 1, right? There will be a test, and one of the 9 focus areas will be identified for the participant. Once the test is completed and the focus area has been identified, you will be eligible to take up a training program, and this training program will be conducted at the institute itself, that is in NITK, and training will be given by faculty who have been themselves trained at different higher institutes, and the training is for around 200 hours, and there will be 2 performance reviews. One will be in the middle around 100 hours, and one will be the final. This will be like the performance review, right? It's called the assessment review, sorry, the post assessment review, and when you clear the post assessment review pertaining to the focus area, then you will be qualified to get certification. At this point, you will get a certification that states that you are competent in that focus area, and your training has been given by NASSCOM, and this training program is now identified by several IT companies. In fact, all of the NASSCOM companies it is identified, and it should be useful for placement in your placement sequence, right? It should be useful during your placement as a additional competence or an additional quality that you have, and that will be considered by the IT company. So you don't have to pay for any of this, the diagnostic test, the training, and the post-training assessment. If there are any procedures, you don't have to pay for any of that. All of that will be taken care by the institute. Basically, there is a World Bank grant called TECHKIT. This is basically quality improvement program fund given by the World Bank for a lot of Indian institutes. So this will be covered. All costs, all expenses will be covered through the TECHKIT funds. So as a student, you don't have to pay anything. There is no financial burden for the student. So that was all. Hopefully, if you have had any questions, enough information has been given. If you still have questions, of course, you can reach out to me. The email address given at the first slide, right? And I just wanted to also show you the test syllabus. You might have already seen this as a part of the document that was circulated earlier. In any case, right? The test is 2 parts. Part A is a generic aptitude and language sort of test that you might have already come across in different contexts earlier. So part A will be a 60-minute test, and there is a sample paper here, right? There is a link to the sample paper here. This PDF will also be distributed. You guys can look at this. So the part A is basically looking at your comprehension, it is looking at communication and so on. and some quants, and which you might have, you might be already familiar with these kind of stuff. Part B, however, is a little more technical, and it deals with some specific areas in computer science, because as you might have noticed, the 9 focus areas are IT related, strictly IT related. So the part B tries to focus or tries to extract out from you the competence you already have in one of these computer science areas that are listed here. The idea is to identify which of these areas you might be well fit in, so that you can take training in one of the 9 focus areas. The idea is not to figure out how good a computer science professional you are, because this test can be taken by any engineer, and it's not a computer science test. Yeah, so this is a good opportunity for any non-computer science, non-CS student. If non-CS student has aspirations to work in the IT industry, and you work in some of the cutting edge work in the IT industry, then this is a good initial step. Yeah, so with that, so again, there's also a sample paper for this also, with you can check out some of the questions, and yeah, so that's about all the information that I have. If you need it, if you want to ask me any more questions, of course you can reach out to me at this email ID over here. Okay, so thanks for listening. That's all I had to say. Thank you.